Hello folks, welcome to the channel. Hope everybody is keeping well. So you find me out and about today on Suzuki's GSX-S1000GT. A little bit of a mouthful, but if you're in the market for either a brand new Suzuki GT or a used GT, stick around and I'll give you my thoughts on the GT, which I've been riding now for a couple of days, and the bike's been lent to me courtesy of my local Suzuki dealer In Motion, and thanks so much to the boss man down there, Danny, for allowing me to take the bike out. I've done a little bit of night riding as well, but before we do any of that, let's roll the intro. Welcome back. I think what we'll do is park up somewhere, have a quick walk around the bike, and then go out for a little bit of a ride. So let's go and find somewhere to park up. Woohoo! So here it is then. This is the Suzuki GSX-S1000GT, to give it its full title. And is it a pretty bike? Yeah, I actually think it's quite a nice looking machine actually. A little bit kind of Batman-y. So here we go then. So it was actually launched in the middle of 2022, and it is very much a sports touring machine. In the UK, the retail price of this one without the hard luggage on the back, that is going to set you back 12,799 of your hard-earned pounds. And if you go for the hard luggage, that's going to be another £1,000-ish extra at 13,899. So if you get the panniers when you buy the bike, you're going to save yourself a couple of hundreds of pounds. It will come in three flavors. You have this one here, which is the black, clearly, and then you have a red one and a blue one. And to be honest, I think I actually prefer the blue one. That Suzuki 999cc engine will be pumping out 152 PS, or old school 150 bhp, and that's going to be knocking out about 106 Newton meters of your finest torques. You're going to get a 3-year warranty, 1-year AA recovery in the UK, and if you want to go to Europe, then you can phone them up or see your dealer or something like that, and you can pay about £4 a day and get some European recovery assistance should you so need it. So let's have a look at the bike then. So it weighs something in the region of 226 kilos, and on the front you have 17-inch wheels on the front, and on the rear also you've got a set of Brembo brake calipers, which are 4-pot piston thingamajigs, and they're pretty good actually, but more of that a little bit later on the road test. And on the rear we have a single Nissin caliper. Tyre wise, it comes with Dunlop Sport Max Road Sports 2 tyres. The front forks are fully adjustable and they are from KYB. Rear suspension is adjustable for spring preload, so you've got to get a C-spanner out and take some skin off your knuckles, and it's also adjustable for compression. Lights on the machine are LEDs all the way around, and you've got your DRL lights here, low beam light, and then you have the high beam light on the right hand side. There's the indicators, again LED, and we have the rear lights too. So the fairy then has been aerodynamically designed for your continued health whilst you're riding this GT sports touring machine. And you've got some cutouts in here, I guess, to let the air flow through. And the wing mirrors, I found them to be very good actually, and these two have been aerodynamically designed. Apparently they just deflect some of the wind from your hands, so making the riding a little bit more comfortable. The screen itself is non-adjustable, but Suzuki do a touring version as part of the accessories for the machine. So moving around to the cockpit area of the GT, what do we have down here? We have a 5-volt 2-amp USB-A port down here, and that is weatherproof, so that's quite a nice feature. You've got a non-adjustable 6.5-inch TFT screen, and then we have the handlebars. The nice thing about the handlebars is you can adjust them. They are actually rubber mounted, so they'll stop some of the vibration, which is nice on those longer journeys. And the nice thing, because it's got handlebars and they're not clip-ons, then you can put stuff like this on here for charging your phone or phone holders, aftermarket satellite GPS things as well. So there is stuff to mount onto the bike itself. And then the switchgear left hand side, very simple to operate, nothing complicated about that at all. You have the high beam on here, you have a rocker switch to go through the menu, a rocker switch here as well, and then turn lights here, and then this is for the cruise control to set it and resume it, horn, and then moving to the right hand side, standard start stuff on here, hazard warning lights, and then bizarrely on the right hand side, this is where Suzuki have decided to mount the cruise control on off button. Levers end, clutch is non-adjustable, and on the right hand side the front brake lever is adjustable. Overall then, the cockpit area is a nice place to be looking at, and they've got some nice panels down here, so it's all nice and tidy. It just would have been nice for Suzuki just to have put some kind of storage compartment in here, maybe for your phone or something like that, but maybe there just wasn't enough room. But overall I think they've done quite a nice job of the cockpit area. So let's have a look at the TFT screen then. Very nice, that 6.5 inch TFT screen. There's the Suzuki logo, and it's just a real nice setup actually. You've got on the left hand side the speedo and the rev counter, and then you've got your fuel gauge here, and then this section here is the riding mode section, shall we call it, time at the top there, so Suzuki's drive mode selector or something like that. So we'll talk about the modes when we're out on the bike, but at the moment we can see it's in mode B for the basic mode. Traction control, I think there's 5 levels I think, and you can switch off, and then the quick shifter is on, and then you have a general information bar at the bottom which you can scroll through using the rocker up here, so you can scroll through that. And I've just, in the couple of days I've had it, I've just left it on range till empty, so there we go, 58 miles with the engine temperature, air temperature, and I think that's miles per gallon, instant miles per gallon. But it's just it's a nice screen actually, and then obviously the warning lights on the outside. And on the top right hand corner, you can't see it, but there was actually a light sensor there, so it's on automatic at the moment, and if we cover the light sensor up, it will go into nighttime mode. That can be a little bit annoying, but I guess you can turn it on to either daytime or nighttime mode, depending on what your preference is, and it will avoid doing that when you're going in and out of tunnels, under the trees, etc, etc. But it is a very nice setup. I like that, very easy to use, not complicated at all, but we'll speak about that when we're out and about on the bike. So tank wise then, we've got 19 litres of your finest fuel, 4.2 imperial gallons, and 45 miles per gallon or thereabouts. Going to give you a range of about 190 miles until you've got to get off and push it. And then if you're moving on a little bit at 35 miles per gallon, well, you're going to be pushing it at 145 miles. The little petrol pump icon up on the dash there will actually start to flash when you've got 1 gallon to go, so that's about 40 miles. And then the petrol pump icon together with the E for empty, well, when you've got about half a gallon left, then they'll both flash. That's about 20 miles, they'll both flash, so you have ample warning. But I've got the distance to empty down here, so I've got 58 miles to go, so that's a very useful feature. But overall it's a very nice dash, like it a lot. I haven't used the rear pillion seat, but it's quite a nice size pad actually. I don't know how comfortable that's going to be, but if you've got one of these bikes folks and you've got a pillion passenger, make some comments in the comment section down below. But we've got nice footrests, and if you're not going to carry a pillion and you haven't got any hard luggage that you can get with the bike, with the Plus model, then you've got some hooks up here to strap your bungee cords with any soft luggage you want to put on the back. So certainly well catered for in relation to strapping luggage on the back. Got some infill panels on here, so if you buy the hard cases, this comes out, and then there's another piece that goes in there to then slot the hard luggage on there as well. And then finally the pillion passengers get a nice metal chunky grab rail, which is also good for when you're maneuvering the bike around, something to hang on to. Got a little bit of storage then under the rear seat. Just put the key in the lock down here, take the seat off, and then you've got your documents under there, and yeah, a little bit of storage as well, together with a toolkit. And then under the front seat, just undo a little bolt under here, or screw, take that screw out, and then just take the front seat off, and then that gives you access to the battery. As a nice little touch, Suzuki give you some luggage straps on the underside of the seat, just to help you in strapping down anything you want to put across the back seat. The bike comes with a side stand only, and sadly there is no option to get a centre stand either. You also got a very nice quick shifter from Suzuki, that's both up and down. The exhaust is a 4-into-1 unit, and actually folks, I actually think it's not a bad looking exhaust actually. I think it's alright. And then finally, the pièce de résistance in this GT model is the K5 derived engine, which is 999 cc's of Suzuki's finest power. As we said before, 152 PS, old school 150 bhp and 106 newton meters of torque, if I've got those numbers correct. Very nice motor. Looking around the bike, the overall fit and finish does seem to be very good, but if you've had any issues with the Suzuki GT, then please make any comments in the comment section down below. And there we have it folks, that is the Suzuki GSX-S1000GT, and I think it's quite a nice looking machine. So it has been out for a couple of years now, so I'm not actually new to Suzuki GSX engines. In 2002 I had a brand new Suzuki GSX-R K2, absolutely love that bike, had it for about 4 years, track dayed it, and I ended up destroying the gearbox because I used to wheelie it everywhere. So I have had a Suzuki GSX motor before, and that was the K2, and this is the K5 engine, so or a derivative of the K5 engine. So there we go, let's jump on the bike. First thing you're going to notice is the seat height here, 810mm tall, so if you're vertically challenged or you just don't like the big adventure bikes, because not everybody do, and you're still a bit too young to leave, or young in your brain, maybe not young in years of age, you're a bit too young to leave the sports bike behind, then either this one or maybe the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 might be the kind of bikes you want to have a look at. But I've not ridden the Ninja. If you have ridden both, make some comments in the comment section down below. But this bike so far, had it for 2 days, done some night riding with it, very nice. I think it looks better maybe with the cases on it as well. So let's jump on board. Very easy to flick the old leg over the top there, and side stand very easy to flick up, and there is no center stand as we mentioned before. Turn the key, no keyless ignition, lovely TFT Suzuki, away we go. And from an electronics point of view, very simple actually. Nice straightforward dash. We've already spoken about the dash, and the Suzuki Intelligent Ride System, or SIRS, is the umbrella of electronic stuff to help you. But there's no 6-axis IMU, so if you're on the corner, there's no slide control, no wheelie control and that kind of stuff. It's the basic ABS and traction control kind of stuff really. You know, I've had my K2 Suzuki, I had no electronics on that other than the throttle, so maybe we get a little bit too concerned that it hasn't got a 6-axis IMU. And you basically have the Suzuki's SDMS, Suzuki Drive Mode Selector, so you've got there's so many acronyms you forget what they are. So on the screen here I've got B, so you've got 3 levels of power control basically, or electronic throttle response because it's an electronic throttle. And you've got A for active, which is sports mode, B is basic mode or road mode. And having ridden it for the last couple of days, B, the road mode or mode B, by far folks, for me is the best mode. A mode or active mode, it's just too jerky, it's too full on really, so I've left it in B mode. Traction control levels, let's have a look, let's use the OK button to enter it. Traction control levels, we have got 5 levels of TC, and you can switch it off as well, and I've just left it on level 3, and there we go, level 3. And then scrolling through quick shifter, I've just left that on actually, and that is it. So from an electronics point of view, very simple. 3 riding modes. You've got traction control and you can switch that off, and you've got the quick shifter as well. You've got electronic throttle as well, and you've got cruise control. Bit daft, they got the button down here to switch the system on, but what I've been finding is when I'm riding along, I just switch it on with the left finger, or you can actually just switch it on now before we ride, leave it on permanently, and then just activate it with the rocker switches down here. So there's more than one way to skin the cat. Indicators are not self-cancelling, which is a shame. And what else is there? Horn, yeah, 50p horn, and really that is about it. Hazard lights as well, pop those on, yeah, it's all good. So I'm going to leave the cruise control on all the time, which is, I've read on the internet, that's what a lot of people do. Slipper clutches on there as well, and some kind of clutch assistance, so it's all very good. It's very light on the clutch, no issues there, it's all good. And they've also got a low speed RPM assist, anti-stall kind of thing. We'll show that as we go down the car park. I'll actually come back up one of the steep slopes. Hopefully I won't stall it, and I'll just take the hand off the throttle, and you just see it does it really well. That's the Suzuki low speed assist. So let's use the start button, start the engine with the quick start. There we go. Sounds great. Make sure I haven't left my second microphone there. And the only thing I'm not too keen on, we've already mentioned it, when you go into darkness, then this has a habit of changing very quickly. Other bikes, it will sort of about 20 seconds before it changes to allow you to come out from under the trees, but this is too quick in my mind. But you can go into the settings and change it. And talking of settings, I think we just have to hold one of the buttons down for a number of seconds. Yeah, the OK button for about 3 seconds, and then you can go into the settings on here. There's not really a great deal to go into. It's a very, very simple bike from the electronics point of view. There is an app called MySpin. You can put your phone, you can connect your phone to it and put a map up there as well if you want. I haven't done that. Ride wise, yeah, you can set some stuff, RPM set. What else is in there? Yeah, so you've got some lights that blink on the top there. Service wise, I'll put the service intervals up here. I'm not sure what they are at the moment, depending on what country you're in, but I'll put the service intervals up here. And finally the settings, I guess that's the one you're going to use. Brightness, day, night. Let's just change that then. So let's go auto. So that if I go to, let's go to black. So let's just go to black. So I've selected that. So we're going to have black on the time, on all the time. So I've done away with the auto select. So that now has no effect when you do the light sensor. So darkness, it's going to stay on darkness throughout the period. So we've got that quick shifter, that 990cc engine, banging out 150 horsepower. And like I say, I had my K2 for a number of years and loved it. Wheelied it all over the place. Not recommended on public roads. Go and do track days, which is what I used to do on it. Loved it. Got the knee down, didn't get the elbow down. So I'm used to, I know what Suzukis are about, and if you're not ready to get onto the adventure market or the crossover market, which is obviously the new Suzuki, which has just been launched, the crossover bike, the GSX-G or something, or X, then you might want to still have a look at one of these, because this isn't a damn good engine, and it's got enough to give you a thrill. Let's just I just demonstrate the low speed assist there. So we're going to go at this ramp, and it is quite steep, so hands off, and yeah, it's anti-stall thing, so it's very good, very good. Right, let's get out of the car park. So here we go then, test ride on Suzuki GSX-S1000GT, if I pronounce that correctly, or the GT as I'm going to call it. So I have done this route, I did it last night actually, so I'll cut the footage between daytime and nighttime so you can see what the lights are like. The headlights then, let's just talk about those. So you've got daytime running lights. The low beam light is the one on the left hand side. I wish Suzuki would have just put both lights on, because people will flash you and say you've got a light out, mate. The high beam light, it does give you some decent light actually, and there is adjustment up and down and left and right under here somewhere if they're not adjusted correctly, which I found maybe the lights when I was riding last night just needed to come down a little bit, but there is adjustment there as well. So riding position for me, it is a sports tourer. When I got on the bike yesterday, I wasn't sure whether I liked it, but the bike has actually grown on me, and I think it's a cracking machine for the price. I think it's really good. It hasn't got every single electronic aid on it, but you know, you don't need that. I didn't have it on my K2. I had a GPZ 900. None of those had any kind of assistance, no ABS. In fact, yeah, you've got ABS on here, you can't switch it off. So I think we all get a little bit freaked out when something hasn't got the 6-axis IMU, and if you can wheelie this, because there's no wheelie control on it, because that's all part of the IMU, then good luck to you. So just because it hasn't got 6-axis IMU with anti-wheelie control and all that, don't be put off about that. This is a very, very good bike, it really is. So the riding position then is a little bit sporty on the lower half, but the top half is quite relaxed actually, and your upright position kind of, but I've had no issues, and I've done a lot of slow speed riding, and that's when you're going to notice any aches and pains on the wrists. Haven't noticed any of that at all. And obviously the faster you go, then you're going to get some airflow helping you out as well. But yeah, it's a comfortable place to be. Sporty but comfortable, it's good, and I quite like it. I had no issues with it at all. From a brakes point of view then, you've got those Brembo 4-pot calipers on the front, and I would say that the braking is fine, and you've just got to give the lever a bit of a yank really. It's progressive braking, or linear braking rather. It's not like sports bike. I've had a Fireblade as well with no electronic stuff on it, and yeah, and those brakes are very good. You might want to consider putting some new pads on there maybe to get a different kind of feel if you're not overly chuffed with the feel of the brakes. But yeah, still 2-finger job, and it slows you down, but you just got to give it a bit of a squeeze to get it going. But it is a GT model, it's there for comfort really. You don't want your passenger continually banging you in the head. And talking of banging you in the head, without a doubt I'd leave it on the B mode, road mode or basic mode for riding basically, because it's more comfortable and less jerky than the A mode for active. Yeah, so it's a very simple electronic suite, very easy to operate, not complicated, and the dash is very nice as well. So the riding position is good, the clutch is good as well actually, nice clutch, non-adjustable lever as we mentioned before. And the screen, in relation to the screen, people have moaned about it, it's a little bit noisy, but other than that, for me, and I have done some speeds on it, and it's been fine with the visor down, and even if it's a bit noisy, you should be wearing earplugs anyway to protect your ears. So it's not an issue. You can get the aftermarket screen. Let's put the visor down. You can get the aftermarket screen if you want to. Mirrors, I don't like the mirrors at all. I actually hate them. They look like ants' antennas, don't they? But they do a fairly good job actually, and from a vibey point of view, focus point of view, they're very good actually, even at speed, and not too much in the way of vibration there. So let's get through that. Plenty of power on tap. The seat actually, I have to say, the seat is very, very comfortable. You don't think it's going to be comfy, but it certainly is very comfortable. More than happy to spend a whole day in the saddle on this, no issues whatsoever. So they've got a nice comfortable seat. On the back there, go on madam, the rear pillion seat then, I'm not sure how comfortable that's going to be. It looks bigger than other seats, but it is a GT model. So if you're going to do some grand touring, then presume you're going to take somebody with you. So if you have been a pillion, make some comments down below please, that would be lovely. Cruise control, I can't remember what the minimum speed is, but you know, you're going to find it very hard to move your thumb across, and I've got small hands, so most people, they just turn the system on there and you get the green speedo come on there to mean that the system is switched on, but it's not active until you press the set button. So there we go, so it says set, so it's now active, and then you can just use the grey rocker switch to speed up. The disappointing thing is you don't know what speed you set it at, so which is a bit of a bummer actually. Wish they would have changed that. So there we go, set it to 40 miles an hour. And then also other quick shift systems, if you change gear it doesn't deactivate the system, this one does. So there we go, third gear into fourth, set disappears, so we're now, the system has been deactivated. If I press the resume button, then because I've pressed the resume button at the wrong time, I don't know if you saw it, but the speed that I had set comes on until you then accelerate to that speed, and then when you hit that speed, the speed that you'd set disappears. I wish they'd have the speed on there all the time, but that's just a little bit of a gripe. Other than that, the dash is really good actually. Things are very easy to change. Yeah, so let's just put it into C mode, and then there we go. Okay, so this is in rain mode. or comfort mode, and there's a definite, there we go, there's a definite yeah, it just backs everything off. I think you still get full power, but from a twist and go point of view, yeah. So if you've got your pillion on the back and you don't want them banging you in the head all the time, you might want to just keep it in C mode, but I think you still get full power eventually. So I'm going to go back to B mode actually. There we go. Back to B mode. I find B mode is the best mode actually. It's nice. If you're doing any touring, then there is that 5-volt USB-A port down here which has got 2 amps, so you can put a GPS unit on here if you so wish, or just put your phone on the bars and charge your phone. So they've catered for that. Would be nice if they had some little pockets for storage like motorway tickets or something on there. What I've noticed also is it's very easy to look over your shoulder on this bike. That's going to sound really daft, but you can actually move around on the bike quite a lot. So because it's a GT sports tourer, you can actually move off the bike and have a bit of fun, and I think this bike will give you lots of fun. So talk about the engine then. So that 150 horsepower engine derived from the K5 engine, which was, I think, apparently the best K series engine out of all of them actually. Buttery smooth, up to 5,000 revs, turbine smooth. It's gorgeous, it really is. And then when you get to about 5,000 revs, between 5 and 6.5, there is a little bit of a flat spot. If you ride along and then open the throttle up fully, you get to 5,000, and then that's when the vibes just start through the groin area, through the handlebars, through the footrests, because it's changing. It's the sport part of the engine is starting to come to the fore. Feel the vibration. There's a bit of a dip in the power curve, well, that's what it feels like anyway. And then when you get to about 6.5, it absolutely flies. I can't really show you, hello mate, I can't really show you because I might get reported for speeding, but it's a very quick machine. I think it do about 150 miles an hour, folks, and in this day and age, if you're going to ride like that on the road, well, you're going to get done on you, so good luck to you. Quick shifter, if you're using up to 4,000 revs, there's a bit of a pause when you select the next gear. I know you can use it up and down, but there is a bit of a pause, and you can also use just the clutch as well. Although you've got the quick shifter selected. So down, there we go, up, it's nice, it's a good quick shifter. And the bike itself is easy to move around, 226 kilos, you've got the grab rails on the back and you can move it around, absolutely no problems at all. The only thing with those mirrors is if you've got a bit of a narrow space in the garage, yeah, that might be entertaining. I wish they could have done something else with them, but they couldn't put them on here because of the screen here. It ended up bashing into them, I guess. But they're all right. I guess I could live with them, but they are very ant looking. But the engine is very nice, and the quick shifter, when you get above 5,000, bop, 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 then it comes into its own. In relation to the lights and riding at night, as we've already mentioned, again I'll put some cut the video footage in here as we go along. The lights are very good, or sort of adequate, they're good enough. I think they just needed to be adjusted a little bit down really, certainly on the high beam. I wish they just make both the front lights come on all the time. I don't know why they don't, but there we go. Other than that, there's nothing else to say. It's just a stonking machine. So whether you go for this one or the Kawasaki, I don't know who the arch rivals are. The Kawasaki's got about 10 horsepower less. But I think that's got a 6-axis IMU, but who knows. But don't let that be the be-all and end-all. In relation to the handling point of view, that's very important, I suppose. You can certainly feel that the bike, it just feels like it's got a long wheelbase, or longer wheelbase, and that gives you nice control through the bend. So once you put it into the bend, it takes the line very nicely actually. but it does feel like it's slower speeds. It's almost like there's a steering damper on it and they've cracked it up, or cranked it up, so it does feel a little bit heavy to turn when you're going at slow speeds. But once you get up and going, it's nice and stable through the bends. I guess maybe because that's slightly long, or what feels like a slightly longer wheelbase, and you can chuck it around. Just turns nicely, it's good. Suspension, most people don't touch the suspension, but you can play around with it. And yeah, put the C-spanner on the back for the preload and take all the skin off your knuckles. A remote adjuster would have been nice, but again, that just loads the price up, doesn't it? But most people don't touch it anyway once they've set it. And the front suspension, KYB, fully adjustable. Yeah, just set it up. Not too much in the way of dive on the front when you brake. It's all good, as they say. It's a good machine. It's a good GT. If you don't want the adventure bikes, or you're vertically challenged but you want something with a bit of go in it, this has got a bit of go, and it's not an adventure bike. Low down torque then, put it in third gear. I don't know if this guy's going to turn into the quarry. Looks like he's just come out the quarry. So the fueling is really spot on. So in B mode is absolutely spot on. It really is good. So third gear, about 1800 revs, 20 miles an hour, roll the throttle, and then away we go. Let's try it in fourth. So there's nothing coming. So there we go, fourth gear, put it into fifth, roll on. Beautiful, very nice. So into the corner then, grind it on. So it is a bike that does move quite quickly, and the suspension I found over speed bumps, cobbled areas, rough tarmac, very compliant. I've got no issues with it at all. This scarred tarmac here, yeah, it rides very well, and that fueling is excellent, it really is. So as we come to the pub here around the corner, I think what we'll do is, I don't think there's anything else to talk about, we'll just take the bike back to the Suzuki dealer, which is in motion. And if you're ever in Jersey, food in this pub is really, really nice. So that all said and done, let's take the bike back to in motion. I guess as we're making our way back to in motion, let's talk about accessories. So you can get a whole load of accessories from Suzuki for the GT, and I'll put some of them up here. Actually, the main ones you might want to consider then would be maybe a new screen just to deflect the wind upwards, or the airflow upwards, and as standard it hasn't got heated grips on here, which is a shame. So you might want to consider getting the Suzuki heated grips for here. And yeah, that would be about it for me, really. I'm sure there's other companies that may be doing luggage for this. Again, put any comments down below if you know of luggage manufacturers that are now doing stuff for the GT. Bizarrely, if you go for the Plus model, you get the panniers. There's no soft luggage bits inside, so you either put it in a carrier bag or you go and buy a set. I did see some bloke, he bought some Givey inserts. Yeah, so you're going to have to spend a few quid there, but I'm surprised Suzuki don't actually give you the inserts to put your luggage in and then pop your underpants and socks within the soft luggage into the hard shell. And apparently you can fit a full face helmet in there as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So my final conclusions and thoughts then on Suzuki's 1000 GT. That's so easier to say than the full title, GSX-S1000 GT, if I've said that correctly. So for price wise, I think it's a cracking buy. Things I'm not too keen on, these indicators should be self-cancelling, cruise control should have the set speed on there, not too keen on the mirrors. Other than that, that pretty much is the bits and pieces that I'm not too fussed about. Maybe a few more litres out of the petrol tank. Other than that, the bike goes well. That 150 horsepower engine is all you actually need, if we're being honest. Okay, it hasn't got a 6-axis IMU, but you certainly don't need that for this type of machine. I think that longer wheelbase, nice and stable when you're going through the bends, slower corners, you know, 20 miles an hour and lower. The steering does feel a little bit heavy, like there's a steering damper on there. But other than that, it's a fabulous machine. I really like it actually, and it will bring a nice smile to any sports bike rider. Seat height as well, 810mm if you're vertically challenged or you just don't want to have a adventure bike. This is a fabulous machine. Get the hard cases and yeah, go touring. So here we are then, back at InMotion. Get down to your local Suzuki dealer. Thank you very much InMotion for allowing me to take this machine out. Very nice machine. It will bring fun to your face. Fun to your face? It will bring a smile to your face. So that's it guys, that has been the Suzuki GSX-S1000GT, courtesy of InMotion. Side stand, very easy to find. No centre stand, oh that was the other query. I think no centre stand for oiling the chain. But there we go, that has been Suzuki's GSX-S1000GT. Very nice, but in blue. Ride safe and see you again soon in the next video. Cheerio for now, bye.